Anime Addicts, it's time for the AAA podcast's Summer Waifu War to begin. Over 2,000 nominations from your elite anime addict minds allowed us to create the most competitive 64 waifu tournament bracket ever assembled. So strap on your weaponry because it's time to throw your grenades into the mix for your favorite waifu. Simply search for waifuwar.life, because waifu are lifu, to vote for your favorite waifu, and be sure to check back weekly as voting will continue round by round until the end of July, where the overall goddess of all waifu will be crowned. Again, vote at waifuwar.life. We'll see you there. Let the war begin.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAApodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Welcome into episode 631 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast, where our sole mission is to make your anime addiction worse. I'm your host, Mitsuki. I am back from the dead. I was not here last week, but I am back. And I'm drinking a green Monster, true to form, in a mason jar full of ice, because that's just, how I like to do things around here, so... And of course, I am joined by two fantastic co-hosts. We have She's Wearing the Blueberry, aka giant,
all the comfy,
king-size, bed-sized, comfy blanket robe.
It looks like it's basically a Snuggie, but in a sweatshirt form.
Don't say she's from upper state New York. She's from lower state New York. It's Caroline.
One of my biggest grievances. Hello, it's me. How you doing? How are you feeling back from the dead?
I feel very good. I am, I just came off a mountain, and boy, are my feet tired. We also have Mason, who is looking very nice with his new haircut. See, Mason is very enviable. He can pull off many different hairstyles. Most people don't even have enough hair to even do a whole hairstyle, if you're me. And Mason's like, long hair, short hair, whatever, I can do it. What's up, Mason?
Is a pompadour next?
I hope.
The plan is, I think, stay short through summer and then begin the growing out process again. So if there's styles like along the way that we can try to hit, we can go for it. I don't know if I don't know if I can do it, but I will certainly try.
I would love it. Honestly,
yeah, I know.
That's really all I ever wanted in my whole life, was to see that happen. So let's go. All right, guys. Well, thanks for letting us make your anime addiction worse today. If you want to help out the podcast, you can go over to aapodcast.com/join. You can throw us a couple bones, help us keep the show on the rails. Of course, you could also just tell a friend about the podcast, or you could write a review on Apple Podcasts, maybe, something that would make us look good. But whatever you do, just make sure you tune in on Twitch, twitch.tv/AAApodcast, Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern, which is right about what time it is right now, as we started a little bit late, as we normally do. And of course, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook. Listen, we got it all going on. We got the Discord going on. The Discord is hot. It's hot like pepper. You want to get over there, you want to make some friends, you want to talk about anime, you want to share naughty pictures of your favorite waifu. We even have places for that on the Discord. You head over to the Discord. You can get there through the website, aapodcast.com, right along the top.
And the Waifu War trailers have just been released.
Oh, shit.
Speaking of hot fire.
With some difficulty, to be honest. Even though I make these specifically for TikTok, the TikTok has not been helpful because it's been very frustrating. And the original sound that I was using had to be changed out, so it's not flowing as well as the original did. So if you want to check it out, please do so on our Twitter or Facebook, because those are that has the superior version on it.
Yeah, so it's so good. It's so good.
All right. Speaking of which, well, the bracket is set for the Waifu War. You guys made it possible. I thank you very much for that. If you want to view the bracket and submit a prediction of the bracket to enter our contest, I bought a couple domains last night. You can go to waifuwar.life, because let's be honest, waifuwar.life. Again, waifuwar.life will take you directly to the bracket where you can predict and enter the contest. You can win some cash. Maybe I'll even come to your house and buy you dinner if you pull off a miracle. And you get some Discord swag as well. But listen, you can, starting right now, you can vote for your favorite waifu. The first half of round 1 of voting is open. You can go to waifuwar.life and vote for your favorite waifu right now. So I expect you to make that happen. Some interesting first round matches I just wanted to call out to drum up some interest. They're all seeded very well, I think. I took a look at the bracket. I think the seeding is pretty accurate to how real life would be. But the overall number 1 seed in the tournament is Marin Kitagawa from Dress Up Darling. A whole lot of people love Marin, I guess, versus Rei Ayanami from Evangelion. So there really are no slouches in this contest. Like, that Rei Ayanami being a 16 seed is pretty shocking, considering, she's basically as famous as anybody. So
well, yes. But here's the thing. What personality traits does she really have?
Rei? She's got all the personalities. She has so many bodies to house all those personalities. She's
quiet.
Amazing. I love Rei. She's a cutie patootie.
She is cute. There's one scene where she smiles. Wow.
Very difficult to earn her affection. She's much like a house cat. It's like your cat's just gonna, hate you forever, and then but once in a while, you get the nod from the cat.
Ooh, it's so rewarding. It's so enriching.
Yeah. Another interesting match, Megumin from Konosuba versus Saber from Fate Stay Night. I really don't know how that one will pan out. It looks pretty tight. I would say Saber's probably going to win, honestly. What do you guys think?
I also think Saber.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Pancake just comes over here. She's like holding up a phone with a number on it. I don't know what she's doing. What? Grocery bill?
You're welcome.
What?
That was your budget.
Oh, okay. I don't know. All right. Making
He didn't
a
even
note.
vote in the waifu war.
Making a note to do edits.
That's why I gotta listen live. You get all that juicy
Yeah, good Lord.
content.
Mhm.
Or watch on YouTube, where I don't
like
edit it
Pancake
there.
yelling in the background.
Amelia from ReZero versus Major Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. I actually don't think Major Kusanagi has even a shadow's chance in hell, honestly. But
yeah, honestly, Amelia is probably gonna win this.
Yeah.
Sad.
So again, if you guys want to check out the Waifu War, this is going to go on until the end of July. So again, if you want to be eligible to win, go to waifubracket.life and make your bracket. But you must vote. You have to vote. Waifuwar.life. Make it happen. Today on the podcast, we're going to talk about our favorite waifus and whether or not they are actually in the waifu on the bracket or not. I have all of the data here from the nominations, and there are.
Yeah, somebody made an Excel sheet for it, which is great.
Yeah, named me. 693.
I thought somebody else did it.
No, someone else made a thing that
About
told
their
you,
traits,
like,
about
the physical
their
features
hair colors and all that.
their like dare type. So
Yeah.
if you want extra bonus stats,
Good Lord.
go to the Discord.
It's all in Discord.
Check that
It's
out.
pinned.
Yeah.
I did notice that a lot of the girls from the first half of round 1 had blue hair. Blue or like silvery blue. I was like, we must love our blue hair. But there were 692 total waifu nominated. So probably everybody on our list today in this podcast episode will be on here somewhere. I'll be able to tell you how far down the list they were. And of course, we have hot new anime releases because there's so much new hot shit going on in anime right now that if you don't listen to this whole podcast episode, you're gonna be, as Mason would say, a slug brain. You're gonna be a rube. They're gonna be talking about the Junji Itos. They're gonna be talking about the this and the that. And you're gonna be like, what? What? I just don't. You gotta keep up with the times, people. So we're gonna do some hot new anime releases, and then the hotly contested, the long-awaited review, a Caroline joint, as it were, Sabikui Bisco. Oh my god, and I am so excited. It's just like unbelievable. And frankly, the children, they don't even like mushrooms. They're just kids, but they are all in. Let's get started,
Are you
guys.
saying this sarcastically? Because I know how much you hated this show.
No,
Spoiler alert.
no. Pow-woo, pow-woo. All right, let's get started today.
おー、大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
Well, it is heartwarming, but Hayao Miyazaki is in the news, and he is doing what he does best, loving nature. So he is assisting the Tokorozawa city to preserve the forest that inspired My Neighbor Totoro. So in Saitama, there is a city called Tokorozawa that has a park called the Fuchinomori Park, and it's known by many as the Totoro Forest. I intend on going to this park next year when I revisit Japan. I'm surprised I haven't been there already since I've been to Saitama several times. And so the city is embarking on a very ambitious sort of program to clean up the park and preserve it to its most beautiful state. So the mayor, Masato Fujimoto, announced last Thursday that the city would spend $13.4 million, which involves buying back 67 acres from landowners to fully restore the park. And this is where Miyazaki comes in. So you'll know that Miyazaki has been known to kind of walk through these parks and like just pick up garbage or whatever, because that's what he does. He's a little old now, I think, so he's doing the effort with his pocketbook these days, and is donating out of pocket $2.2 million to the city to clean to clean the park. That's a shitload of money for one individual. $2.2 million to, how much is Miyazaki worth? Any guesses?
How about
100 million yen? I don't know.
Well, he's donating 300 million yen, Mason.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that. It's a loan.
I'm gonna
It's a
say
loan. He's
budgeting it with his next release.
He
I
donated
am going
money.
to say 1 billion yen.
He's worth $50 million, which is about these days, like, let's see, five, blah, blah, blah. It's like 7 billion yen is what he's worth. Anyway, so he's worth, so he basically just,
several times more than I said.
he just donated 5% of his net worth to this park. It's pretty intense. Of course, he kind of owes it to the park, maybe, because maybe without it, Totoro wouldn't exist. But so they say the project needs a total of almost $20 million to do everything they want to do. And Studio Ghibli also launched a crowdfunding campaign to sell 1,000 sets of reproduced background art from My Neighbor Totoro, and a single set of 5. This is a fucking bargain. A single set of 5 framed art pieces is only $186. 5 framed. You can't even go to Michael's and get 5 frames done for $186. Fucking forget it. You can't get 2 frames done at Michael's for $586. They're going to do 5 and do all the art reproduction. Are you fucking kidding? It should be $1,000 easily, for sure.
That's really crazy.
It is crazy. They're going to sell
I'm sure that's going to be instantaneously sold out.
Instantly. There's no doubt. So they're going to donate all of that money too. God, man, I want that. But like, I know it's gone already. There's no way I'm going to get him. There's no way a man from the United States, let alone a bald man from the United States, is going to get this artwork. So forget it. Not happening. But good for Miyazaki. The man does have a big heart, and when it comes to things he cares about. $2.2 million is a lot of money to donate. All right, that's my big news. Caroline.
Well, some sad news, really. It's
more
just people from the anime industry that have unfortunately passed away. So you might have heard something about this in the last couple months, because somehow 2 of these voice actors, these English dub voice actors, have been diagnosed with cancer very recently, and just have recently passed away as well. One of them being Jim White. He is also a radio host. He passed away on June 4th of lung cancer at 73 years old, and he was only diagnosed on April 20th, which is very sad. I mean, I can't even imagine being diagnosed with cancer, let alone dying like a month and a half later. It's so sad. So you might know him from such roles like Igneel and the narrator in Fairy Tale, starting with the second season. He was Marco Bellwood in Fairy Gone, Zeke's grandfather in Attack on Titan, the final season, and Lago G in One Piece. He also worked with Kato, The Right Answer, Saran Sanmai, Black Clover, A Certain Magical Index 3, and the Legend of the Galactic Heroes remake as well as several other properties. So that is upsetting. And then I think a lot of more people have heard about this guy, Billy Kametz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so he passed away only a few days ago, June 9th, of colon cancer at 35 years old. So young and so upsetting. He revealed in late April, again, that he was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, which is just horrible. And then a lot of anime fans actually, and I'm sure fans of, in general, supported a GoFundMe to help with his treatments and travel. It surpassed its goal and raised like $175,000. And it's actually, the GoFundMe is still open even after his death. The extra funds will go to his celebration of life and funeral. So if you want to go check that out, I'm sure the family would really appreciate it. His voice roles include Josuke and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Unbreakable, Naofumi in The Rising of the Shield Hero, Gallo in Promare, The White Blood Cell in Cells at Work, and Rui in Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. And that's a lot of great roles that are, unfortunately, he's no longer going to be around to voice. So, yeah, just very sad stuff that I figured I'd mention.
I feel like Billy was like just recently stepped away. And we talked about that.
because he was diagnosed, so he needed to step away to focus on treatments and stuff.
Yeah. It's a scary thing. 35 years old. That's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So, rest in peace.
Yeah. So, good to acknowledge. Very sad. 35 years old is that's basically my age. That's way too young for anybody for any reason. So, all right, let's move on. Mason?
Yeah, going from death to another story, a little bit about death, but hopefully one with a little more of a Phoenix-esque arc. The Berserk manga will be continuing. The editing department of Young Animal, the magazine that it is published in, announced that the Berserk manga will continue on June 24th, which is just a week or two away from when we're recording this. As we all know, Mira, the original mangaka for it, passed away last May. Hard to believe it's already been over a year, due to acute aortic dissection at the age of 54, still very young. So the manga will be continued by Studio Gaga, which is Mira's studio, and will be supervised, as they say, by Holy Land's mangaka Koji Mori, who was a close friend of Mira and who Mira frequently consulted with on the ending of Berserk back for decades, ever since the eclipse happened. So Mori has stated that he knows the story of Berserk up until the end, and he promises to recall the details the best that he can manage. And while it might not be the exact, telling of it that Mira intended, he claims that they can try their best to achieve what he would have wanted. So, any thoughts on the return of this? Any hopes? Any thoughts on what we're going to get?
I mean, I just hope that they stay true to the spirit of Berserk, and because it is a fine line. Like, you want to finish the work that he put so much of his life into and people have so much love for, but you also don't want to make the mistake of accidentally ruining it, because that is probably the last thing that they would want in order to honor him, is ruin his, magnum opus.
I asked, I haven't really read Berserk's manga, so I asked Pancake about this earlier, and it was an opinion of concern, I would say. Like, I feel like it's probably not that uncommon of an opinion to be concerned that they're going to screw up the manga if they continue it without the creator. But I don't know. I feel like people should be excited. I mean, the assistants, they clearly know the process. They know the creative process. I'm sure they already help with the artwork. They're probably very talented. And, and now they have someone to come in to supervise and knows the story. So, I mean, I don't know. If you want to know how Berserk ends, this is the best way to do it.
Yeah, and I'm honestly torn, because on one end, I think where it left off is probably the best place it possibly could have, considering the last couple releases have just been very satisfying in how they tied things up. That said, it feels like all the pieces are in place if they did want to continue it, for them to do so. So I guess we'll just, if worse comes to worse, it's not what we expect. We can say, hey, here's the stopping point. Here's where it truly ended, and we can call it there. And let's see what happens. I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm hoping for the best. So I don't mind it, just cautiously optimistic.
All right. Yeah, I was kind of surprised actually, because I didn't think that they would really continue it, but they have. They're going to, I guess. So, well, what the hell do I know? Clearly. All right. Well, shall we get on with it?
I think so.
That was some good big news, by the way. A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Except people dying, which is never really good. All right. Now, Waifu Wars. We are in preparation for the Waifu Wars. We have put together top 10 lists. Now, I think in the case of myself and Caroline, these are literally the nominations that we made in the bracket. And Mason, these are who you would have nominated if you had put them into the bracket, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't want to, I don't know, muddy the waters with any of my own terrible opinions.
Well, I will say that we didn't do a very good job. Our opinions do not match those of our audience, I will say. We had, out of these 30 characters, only 1, 2, 3, 4, only 6 of them are on the bracket. So a 20% accuracy rate, which is kind of bad, but
what makes a good waifu is being your waifu, not everybody else's.
Exactly,
Well,
and I think this is just a testament to how many good waifus are out there. Because I remember we did the hottest women in anime bracket a while ago, and I was complaining like, "Oh, Caroline and you guys forgot this person and this person and this person," and they had a limited thing. We gave you guys every waifu in existence, and you picked 64 of them, and still there's so many left on the chopping block. So this is an appreciation for all waifus, whether or not they did or didn't make the bracket.
I still think that we need to take a sweep through the overall list of even the ones that did not make it so that we can just talk about, oh, wow, somebody actually put so-and-so on this list. I wonder why, kind of thing.
Yeah, who's the one person that voted for this?
Or it's like, I cannot believe this waifu did not get onto the top 64. So I feel like that's another topic in the making right there.
There were definitely some pretty strong characters that were right on the bubble. They just didn't make it. And we'll talk about those, I think, because, it'll be inevitable. Anyway, I'm just going to go through, let's just do them one person at a time because I think it's a lot less chaos.
Like starting from the bottom?
We can start from number 10 if you want and go to number 1. But I'm going to do all of mine, then you guys can do all of you because I think it's less chaos than having to rotate.
Yeah, sounds good.
My number 10 was Android 18 from Dragon Ball Z. I love Android 18. She's cool. She's badass. She's one of the best villains from Dragon Ball for sure. God, the Android saga is so amazing. And Krillin's such a stud for picking up Android 18.
I was gonna say, what do you think of that relationship? Does that help or hurt her waifu ranking in your heart?
She's the fucking waifu. She's a definite strong ass waifu. So
yeah, but because she got with Krillin, does that help her cause or hurt it? Are you like, he's just like me?
As a fellow bald man.
Yeah,
as
that's what I'm saying.
Actually, he's not bald. He just shaves his head, so he's a fake bald man. But so Android 18 is on the bracket. She is up against, let me see, Android. She's up against a character that I don't even recognize this character. You guys will know her. Ai Hayasaka from...
Oh, she's the blonde girl.
Kaguya-sama.
Kaguya-sama.
So
probably Kaguya's maid or like assistant.
So
although she is a tough opponent, great. I think everybody loves Ai.
So there are 3 characters from Kaguya-sama on this bracket, but so Android 18 is a 6 seed, and then Ai is an 11 seed. So in theory, Android 18 should win, but you guys feel like Ai will win that?
I have a feeling that Ai will go all the way, but that's just me.
All the way.
I think that's what I put in my bracket prediction. I kind of think she has the potential to win.
Wow! I don't know that, but I like your confidence. I'm
not saying I'm confident in that, but I'm just saying that's how my predictions ended up with her winning.
I checked your bracket, but you haven't made one yet, so
I did.
You did?
I did this morning.
Oh, you did? Where is it? I don't see it.
Are you looking at the top 100? Because there's more. There's like a full list.
There's another Caroline's so much smarter than I am. Well, Caroline has put her money right where her mouth is because she indeed did pick Ai Hayasaka to win the tournament.
I am not saying that for certain. Like, I would not be surprised if she got out in the earlier round and then somebody else won. But that's just my thought. That was my thought process this morning. It could change on a different day.
Well, there are two other people that picked Ai Hayasaka, so you're not alone.
You're in good company.
Yeah. Next on my list was Horo from Spice and Wolf, and this is the only other character I picked that made the tournament. Horo, pretty strong, like long-time waifu from Spice and Wolf. She's a 3 seed, and let's see. Horo is going up against. She's in the first round of voting. She is got Nino Nakano from Quintessential Quintuplets, which I have not watched, so I don't know that. I just assumed Hodo would wipe the floor with her because it's, Spice and Wolf. So, what do you guys think?
Nino's kind of cute.
You're correct in that prediction.
Honestly, looking back on it, I think I did end up choosing Nino, but thinking about it, that was the wrong choice.
See, what I'm thinking is the Q5 fans will tear themselves apart. Because you have the people who like Nino and other quintessential fans, but they don't like Nino. So they'll be like, oh, we can't have her win over my favorite quintuplet, so I'm going to vote for Holo to, crush the opposition. So I think you're right. I think Spice and Wolf is moving on to the second round.
Next on my list, number 8 was Cherry Boy Hunter, Sono Shea from Redline, who is like way down the list. So she didn't even come close to making the bracket, and in fact, if she had, she would I have all. Let's see here. I have these rankings.
How many votes did she get?
I think I'm the only person. Yeah, she's way down in like the. Oh yeah, she would be. I'm the only person that nominated her.
Nice.
Then I had Bishamon from Noragami, who Bishamon is just like a smoke show. Like she's just one of the most beautiful characters I think that you're gonna find anywhere. Something about that combination of like the purple eyes and the blonde hair. But she was ranked 174 on the list, so she didn't even come close. And Kohaku from Dr. Stone, who is she's the blonde girl from Dr. Stone. The first one, like the tough one, that's like, she's like one of the main allies of Senku. So
Can I go off on a tangent for a second?
Yeah.
I feel like Kohaku in this first season should have become the leader of the village, not Senku. I feel like she earned it fair and square, even though she's a woman. She still could have done it. She could have led this freaking village. That's what I'm saying.
Kohaku's so hot. I don't know, like, yeah. I mean,
It does just one thing that irritated me about season 1.
I'm right there with you. She has leadership qualities. I wonder if she's I don't want to say she's dumb, but I think she's portrayed that way. So I wonder if she's not smart enough to lead a whole group of people. What do you think?
No, but like if the rules of the whole tournament thing of who was going to lead the village is that whoever wins, like the fights, they become the leader of the village. But they didn't want Kohaku to fight in it because she's a woman.
Yeah, because she'd whoop everybody's ass.
She whooped I can't remember correctly, but I remember watching it. I'm like, okay, so Kohaku's going to become the leader of the village, right? She whooped everyone's ass.
It would be
but no, it's Senku.
Well,
probably
he can be the consultant. He can be the king of Science Kingdom, but she can be the ruler of this village.
Senku didn't even want it, as far as I recall. He's like, I don't want to deal with this shit.
And and then he divorced the sister because apparently they're all property.
She's also waifu, but I can't even remember.
Well, the problem is everyone in Dr. Stone, at least all the female characters, have the exact same face and body, so they all look the same. So they wouldn't remember which one's the leader.
Just change the hair out.
Looking.
It's too identical. It's too airy. I get that that's their look, but I don't know. Anyway, what else? You got?
So Kohaku was ranked 101. So in order to get on the bracket, you got to be in the top 64. So Kohaku didn't even come close. Rally Vincent is she's fucking awesome. She all right. So Riley Vincent was on the bubble. She was a bubble character. She missed it.
What does that mean?
It means she almost made it. So she missed it by 5 spots out of 700.
Wow.
So she was really right there, from Gunsmith Cats and from, what the hell is that anime called that I like?
Riding Bean.
Riding
Riding.
Bean. Yeah.
Oh, can I ask who was like the first runner-up from the bracket?
Out of everybody,
So, yeah, like the one that just barely did not get in.
Boa Hancock from One Piece.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
It's Boa Hancock from One
It's
Piece.
Boa Hancock. Come on. No,
I think we were talking about it on the Discord, and they showed me who she was. I'm like, oh, okay.
and after that,
Another series where all the female characters have same body syndrome. Almost all of them, to be fair. Not all, but
the one after Boa Hancock is on Mason's list, so we'll get to that later.
yeah, sad.
Anyway, but Riley Vincent is just like so. I mean, she's cute as hell. She's got a great, like, fun, chill, sort of like tomboyish personality.
Yeah, she's cool.
She'd be fun as fuck on a date. Like, there'd be no doubt. Like, there is no doubt Riley Vincent would be a fun date every time. She could be on. She could be sicker than she's ever been sick in her life, and she'd still be a blast to hang out with. So
Known White Sox fan as well, so you know she's got good taste.
But alas, Gunsmith Cats is just not in people's minds. Like, it's not a show people think about ever. So it's just an OVA from the 90s.
But if you haven't seen it, it's just a couple episodes, and it's worth it. It's a ton of fun. Watch the dub. It's a good time.
After that, obvious choice for me, LaFille from Crest of the Stars. Yeah. She came in 103rd. So not terrible, but, not good enough. But LaFille would not be a fun date. She's just a cool character from a show that I love. And, she's a little too robot-ish. She's not a robot, but she acts a little bit like a robot. Then, a character that I'm not surprised didn't make it, but personally should have, Iria from Zerum the Animation. Iria is a little more like Rally. Like, she would be so fun. Like you guys could go to, like, it should be super competitive. You could just do like any like putt. If it's putt, bowling, axe throwing, whatever you do, like, Iria would be all in from the Iria Zyram the Animation, which is also an OVA from the 90s and pretty freaking good. I mean, it's pretty good. Yeah, it definitely is. So Iria is hot as fuck. She's so hot. I think I've always had a crush on Iria. She's like an anime crush for sure. So I threw that one out there real quick when I was making these picks, and then my top two was, the first one was the winner of our small episode where we did the wife bracket. Madam President didn't make the bracket. She was the third runner up. So she was ranked 67. I'm really surprised that Madam President didn't make it, because we just talked about it, and I never shut the fuck up about Golden Boy. I mean, it's
true.
And it's 100% fact. And she just was a topic of conversation on a prior podcast, so I kind of thought she'd make it, but she didn't make it. It's a bummer. She came in ranked 67. And she could have shaken things up. She would have come in as like a 16 seed and been up against, like, Marin or one of these like uber waifu that everybody's obsessed with. And she could shake it up a little bit, because there are some pretty ridiculously gratuitous photos of Madam President. I mean, she really doesn't have anything that's not insanely ecchi. And then my ultimate waifu, I proposed to her once when I was in college on Facebook, and she turned me down because she said she was already married to the forest. And that is, it's a true story.
What?
She even has a Facebook, to be honest.
She did. Yep. This
weird.
was back when, like, every anime character has their own Facebook page, and this is like the official Facebook page for Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. And I was like, Nausicaa, I love you. Let's get married. I'm like 19.
Can you imagine, like, the high school boy that made that Facebook account now having another guy come up and say, "I want to marry you"?
Maybe it was a girl.
Well, I'm gonna assume, like, anybody that makes a Nausicaa Facebook account is probably gonna be a guy.
well, I got rejected anyway, so, I'm still trying to get over it. She came in right after Madam President at 68, so that was interesting, but also stunning. Didn't make the bracket, so big.
You know what also is surprising is that
pony.
no Ghibli characters at all made the bracket.
None. Well,
I mean, also a lot of them are children.
Yeah.
But I feel like Princess Mononoke should have been on there.
You mean San?
San, yeah.
Yeah.
She would just bite you to death and kill you while you're sleeping.
Well, so would Ashka, but she's on here.
Ashka can communicate with words.
Or Asuka. Sorry, I put it like I said Asuka.
Fair. But then she'll blush about doing it. So that's the appeal.
Asuka is a bitch, though. She would just mouth off to you and be like, fuck you, basically. They're both
I've had
terrible.
so many arguments on our Discord about Asuka and why I don't like her.
The only girl from Evangelion that you could possibly want to be with is Misato. I mean, and she's an alcoholic, so I'm not sure. I don't know. All those characters are so fucked up. Like, considering the world they live in, I'm not surprised.
Like, this whole anime is about being completely traumatized and being just barely a person because of it. So it's kind of incredible how we have anybody that's a waifu in that show.
That's why Mari is so cool. And Ray. They're both pretty great, but Mari's awesome. Anyway.
So that's all I had on my list. Caroline, you wanna start?
Sure. Okay, so number 10 is kind of a newcomer, and that's why I didn't go farther up on my list because I haven't seen too much. But it's Magahara Desumi from Love After World Domination, which we are going to be reviewing, in the relatively soon. So she is awesome because she is technically a villain because she works for a villainous organization, but she is the biggest sweetheart. She's adorable, like both in her Reaper Princess uniform. Well, in that case, she's like hot. And then in her daily life outfits, she is just the cutest. And I strive to be like her.
Now, Caroline, I hear she eats bears.
She does not eat any bears.
Can you confirm or deny her?
No, but that's also the thing is that she has these really bad rumors about her because she is so frightening in battle, so that everybody just makes up these really scary rumors about her. But it's like farthest from the truth. Like, she's just so nice, and we have not gotten to. From what I watched, we haven't really gotten to the part where we discuss on why she's part of an evil organization in the first place, but I bet it's for a good reason. And she's just so understanding of Fudo, her boyfriend in the show, and on their first date,
here we go.
Do
I have any cute music?
Screws it up by bringing, bringing her to a gym so they can work out, and just doing really not first date stuff, because he's so stupid.
Like what?
And at first, you kind of,
for example,
he presents her with a backpack full of protein bars as their dinner.
What?
He's pretty great.
Yeah. Okay. So based on all that, we're all thinking like, okay, she's like not feeling this first date. Like, this is really bad.
Maybe
but
she
then she kind of reveals that because they are things that he likes, she doesn't really mind it, and and they move on, and she still kind of has a good time. And she is just great. And I love her. And I think a lot of other people loved her too. And I think she definitely got a few votes for this.
She did.
Even though she's pretty new.
She did pretty good. She was 73rd. So she missed it by 9.
So not too far off.
So we're picking a lot of these characters that are like right there. But
on the cusp.
They're just getting pushed out by all the super popular characters, so.
Yeah. Number 9 was Shirakawa Miho from Odd Taxi, just because, she's an alpaca? She's an alpaca? Or a llama?
I don't fucking know.
Anyway,
I think it was
even though she's one of those things, she's still adorable. She does that, what's it called? That fighting...
Capoeira, whatever.
Capoeira.
Capoeira?
And that one scene where she's just demonstrating capoeira is probably the best part of the show for me. So yeah, she's great. So I put her at my number 9. Number 8, I had to go with the basic choice. I went with Kitagawa Marin from My Dress Up Darling.
Number
You know,
one
listen,
seed.
if I were to spend more time on my top 10 before I submitted my waifu list, I probably could have gone with somebody different for a couple people on this list, to be honest. But it's the first one that popped up. You know, recency bias. I knew she was going to be there anyway, and I wanted to put in 10 and not a lesser number. So I just went with her because she's cute and she's great. She's so, she's just overall just a nice person. And I like her.
Well,
so
like
I put her
100
at my
people
number 8.
agreed with you. So.
Oh, I know. And that's why she's seed 1. And number 7 on my list, again, maybe if I thought more about it, I could have come up with somebody else. I put Kirishima Toka from Tokyo Ghoul. Just because I haven't really seen or watched Tokyo Ghoul in a while, but I do remember absolutely loving Toka. She's just so cool, and I like her. So that's number 7. Number 6, Sasha Blouse from Attack on Titan, because I felt like she definitely needed some representation on this list, because who doesn't love Sasha? She's just
She
really
almost made
fun. She did almost make it, I'm pretty sure.
She did. She was right there.
I don't know how Mikasa makes it, but not Sasha.
You know, I kind of feel that too. I think Mikasa's just more badass, and that's why. And of course, one of the main characters.
These people are
yeah.
terrible waifus, though. Like, do you really want to have Mikasa as your wife?
Yeah.
I stab you to death while you're sleeping. Like I don't. It's like a lot of people pick Revy from Black Lagoon. Like
I
Revy-
don't know what to say to that, because honestly, when I was making that trailer, probably the best thing that I could find for her was her literally shooting somebody in the face with a smile.
She's gonna fucking murder. She's gonna be like, wake up and put a cigarette out on your chest. You're gonna be like sleeping in bed all peaceful with your pillows and shit. Your chest hair is all like sticking up. She's gonna like walk up to you with a cigarette, just put it out like on your nipple and be like, wake up, bitch, time to go. That's Revy.
Yeah.
I don't know who wants that.
So somebody, Captain Avatar just commented, Tokyo Ghoul, went downhill rapidly after the first season, in my opinion, honest opinion. And I'm like, that's not a hot take. Everybody thinks about that, Captain Avatar, just saying. Nobody thinks Tokyo Ghoul after season 1 was any good. Some people don't even think season 1 was any good. So, just saying, I'm just putting that out there.
Still a waifu, so still counts.
Still a waifu. Number 5, Balsa from Moribito, because I did put her in like our hottest anime girls bracket, even though that was kind of it was not the best topic for us because a lot of people disagreed. But honestly, I think she's just a badass. She's like just such a good fighter, and she's so sweet, and she has such a really cool character in Moribito, and I think she definitely deserves to be a waifu, because I would totally want her to be my waifu.
Well, see, that's what you want. You want to have like a sweet, nice person.
She is a protector too, so just all that combined.
You don't want to have to worry about your, your safety. So
Mitz is very concerned about the burnability of his nipples here.
My nipples are very important to me. Even though they're totally useless. They serve no purpose whatsoever. But, I don't know.
So that's number 5. Number 4, Kawamoto Akari from March Comes in Like a Lion, which I am shocked she is not in the top 64.
Oh, really?
Because she is like the living embodiment of a waifu. She loves her cats. She's so sweet to them. She will bring basically anyone in off the streets and feed them and fill them up with some good food and love and care. And she doesn't care whether you want to or not. She will help you. And she's, she has like, she's cute and she can also be hot. And she's a full package.
Agreed. She's also on my list, so definitely hard to agree.
You both picked her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kari's amazing.
Where is she on the list, Mitsuki?
Well, so I can tell you why she didn't make it. There's clearly too many female characters in March Comes in Like a Lion, because there are votes on here for Hinata and Akari. And if you combine...
Hinata is her younger sister, so...
Well, fine, but if you were to combine them all, she would have made it. But because they're cannibalizing votes from each other.
That's probably
Akari
true.
was close though. She was like 80.
Was she in front of Hinata?
Oh yeah, Hinata wasn't even close.
Okay, good.
But Hinata
Yeah,
took
because-
votes away from her. So,
True.
but Hinata looks like a fucking child. What is she, 7? Look at what.
No, she's in middle school.
She's 13. Oh, you want
yeah.
your waifu to be 13? Come on, people.
Yeah, it's like
What?
that's the problem with these waifu things is that there are several characters that are like, oh yeah, that's a total waifu, and then you realize their age, and you're like, maybe not, because some characters act their age in anime, and some of them act a little bit more mature, so they think of them as a waifu.
I guess. All right. What else?
Well,
Well,
number 3 on my list is
here we go.
probably one of my absolute favorite shows, as everybody knows, Hori Mia. There was no way I was not going to vote for Hori, and she's seed 9, so I picked well.
oh yeah, she made it.
Yeah, she's just scary and beautiful and sweet and caring, and their relationship is goals, and I love them.
Oh, but
And
she's up
of
against
course-
seed. See, this is a tough one. See, this is how you know the seeding's correct, because seed 8 is Cece from Code Geass.
You see, I've never seen Code Geass, so that means nothing to me.
Well, when I think about them both, I don't really think there's an obvious choice, and so I think they're correctly seeded, because you wouldn't want to have 16 and the 16 seed and the 1 seed be like a toss up. They should be that one should be obvious, but the 8 and the 9 are like a coin flip. I don't know who do you think's going to take that, Mason? CC, we're not going to know for a while, but
I think Hori. I think Hori is just recency.
I think you're right.
And I'd imagine that Hori is the main character of the show, and I don't know where Cece lands in the cast list of.
She
Code
is
Geass.
like an important role, but she's has very little screen time. Like you see that she eats pizza, and maybe that's enough to
She does
convince
love
some
pizza.
people. She does love that Pizza Hut, and who doesn't? But
Is it
there's just
Pizza
not
Hut?
much to her. Oh, I think it's Pizza Hut pizza. That's all joke of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe it
It's
was
literally
sponsored.
Pizza Hut.
Yeah, like
Oh,
not
that's funny.
not like a McDonald's kind of thing. I think it was Pizza Hut. I'm double checking, but I think they actually got Pizza Hut in there. Yeah, it's on the. Yeah, they were sponsored by it.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's funny.
Continuing with my list.
Yes.
Sorry.
Number 2. Also on the hottest babes of anime list that we did a while ago, Power Nap from To Your Eternity.
Oh, Perona. She
She
was pretty hot.
She's
Oh,
just
Chef's
the-
Kiss.
Mm,
Chef's
she's
Kiss.
just so gorgeous. She just badass. She is so sweet, and I cried for her a couple times. And she had to be my favorite character in that entire show. She's just great, and I love Perona. And I really wish she made it onto the list, but because I feel like she's a little bit more of a niche choice, because she's not a main character. She isn't around. I think she's only around for maybe 4 or 5 episodes of the entire 2 core show. So I mean, she's not around for too long for people to really remember her too much, I think. Except for in the I shouldn't talk about that because that's kind of a spoiler. Never mind. So she's my number 2, and my number 1, because she has been my number 1 for so long, Tadokoro Megumi. She was my waifu before I even knew what waifus were. She is
Oh, she made it.
just she's seed 14, and I'm so proud of her for making it that far. She's unassuming. She's quiet. She gets a little bit too nervous all the time. She has that's one personality trait I wish she kind of dialed back on. But she makes good food. She becomes a badass.
It's true.
And she, I wished for more for her in the show, to be honest. I really wish that she and Soma got together in Food Wars. But I know that Soma got together with Arena because they were just, you can feel it by the moment the manga started. It's like, oh no, he's not going to go for this girl, even though she has everything one could possibly want in a waifu. He's going to go for the angry one. That's how life goes.
Your Perona, she almost made it. She was ranked 92.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
That's a good showing.
yeah, she was almost there. Just narrowly missed it, but Megumi
is not going far
Megumi's-
here.
yeah, she's-
I already know she's out. There's
Yeah,
no
she
way.
got a tough fucking draw. I mean, she drew Misato from Evangelion, so that's
I
gonna
wonder
be.
who made the list.
The fans, you
I didn't.
listeners, this is your fault.
I didn't
Oh,
personally.
you seeded them and you put them
Well, it's
together.
based on
It's
popularity.
based. I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
There was no
Well, because
judgment on
I
my
know the
part.
seeds relate to how many votes they got, but I thought maybe you had a hand in putting certain matchups together.
No, nope. It was all. It's better that way.
Numeric.
It's
Yeah.
better
All
that way.
right.
The hand of God remained off the handles of this
Yeah,
one.
yeah. My goal was to be completely uninvolved as much as I could be. So, Mason.
Yeah, I'll whip through these really quickly because, as longtime listeners know, we used to have a Waifu Wars segment on the show.
Oh, you're right.
In which case, I talked about a lot of these in there, so we'll just be really quick. But I don't think many of mine got a lot of love in the bracket. So,
Oh,
just the fact that, just as Caroline mentioned, your waifus are for you more than anyone else, and don't let anyone tell you your taste is bad unless you like. I'm not going to say their name. We're going to leave.
come on, do it.
We're a loving community here. Number 10, and this
Oh.
is a no like harsh order. We're going to go with Surika Ito from Space Brothers.
Oh,
She's just
Sarika.
so delightful. She's just an absolute physical powerhouse. She's got the lung capacity of a mermaid. She's got the belly capacity of me. I don't know. She's amazing. She's so innocent and cute, but also just like a wizard genius mastermind. And she's super realistic and amazing.
Do you think you're the only person that nominated her?
No, I think there's like 3 others if I had to guess.
How do you even spell this fucking girl's name?
Serika.
Oh, nope. There's no
Nope.
one else besides no. I was like, she didn't come up, and I was like, wait a second, like something's wrong here. But then
Yeah, maybe you're nope, no one showed Circa any love for Sad
No,
because
it's fucked.
she's
fucked
not
up.
drawn to be a big busted cutie pie. She just naturally exudes that
Big
element. That
busted.
sad. Number
sad.
9, the K-On girl that doesn't get enough love. My girl Ritsu Tainaka, the drummer, the Genki powerhouse of the band. She's amazing. She would just be so much fun to hang out with and get into goofy adventures all day.
Ritsu,
And
huh?
Ritsu, yeah. Mio stands. I know they get the popularity. Everyone loves Mugi's eyebrow game, but Ritsu is the coolest.
So
She's my favorite.
Mio nearly made it, but the rest,
Yep.
but no one else got close. So K-On has clearly declined very, very
Not,
badly.
not surprising. Next up, as Mitz alluded to earlier, Nashka. Of all the Miyazaki heroines, she's by far the most waifu high level status for me. She is just so impassioned about what she loves to do, but well spoken and mature, and just a badass at the same time. So Nashka is really awesome. Like Caroline mentioned, number 7 is Akari from March Comes In Like a Lion. She's just the complete package in every conceivable way, and she's just so comfy and realistic and grounded, and just a babe at the same time. Number 6, I had to go against the grain here from Kill la Kill. Did not go with Ryoko, which did make the bracket, but my girl with the strongest eyebrows, even stronger than Mugi from K-On, is Satsuki from Kill la Kill. She is just girl boss energy. If you want to use what the kids are saying these days, she just runs the show with an iron fist, and she's pretty cool.
So
And her character growth at the end is pretty nice.
Other people did nominate her, so you're
Yep.
not alone.
Nice. Another waifu, number 5, that I was expecting to make the list, but I guess, we got some babies in the house who can't handle big, strong women, is Noi from Doro Hidoro. She didn't make it, right?
No,
Or am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy.
I am crazy because she should have.
She goes ranked 226. So she.
What?
Yeah.
Y'all need to watch Doro Hidoro.
Not even close.
Noi and her relationship with Shin is just one of the most heartwarming things ever. And she's a badass. She's so cool. And she's also like 6'8". So yeah, it's just a good time. Number 4, there was quite a few Monogatari characters that made it.
Yeah.
But my favorite has to be Kanbaru. Because I don't know, she's awesome. And she doesn't get molested by the main character as much because she just gives it to him as good as she gets. So she's
Conmaru.
pretty badass. Yeah, Suruga.
Yeah.
She's got the monkey paw, and she's a badass basketball player.
There were 7 Monogatari characters nominated somewhere.
Yeah.
So we got, let's see, 5 from Bake
Yeah.
Monogatari.
Monogatari is just a waifu factory. Let's not
Yeah,
kid
I guess
ourselves.
so.
It's nothing more than that, but they're so good. I love them so much.
Pump out those waifus.
Oh, the Captain Avatar says hashtag Mason is wrong.
Oh no! Well, he said
Any
hashtag
word.
Mason is right earlier, I believe. So I think I'm
Oh.
back to.
Hashtagging here.
maybe Captain Avatar's wrong.
He just doesn't like Noi. That's okay. That's okay.
By
That's
the way,
that's the pleasure of this.
by the way, punk ass bitch, step off Mason and his new haircut. God damn it!
Number 3, also going back to Food Wars like Caroline, but I've got to go with Alice Nakari. The short white hair, the red eyes, it just pops so much.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
She's a great cook. She's sassy. She has the best pout in anime. I love her pouting.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when they draw it like chibi with just like the eyeliners around. She's
cute.
She's a cool aesthetic. I like Megumi. Definitely is like maybe a real world like girlfriend
She's
wife
hometown
material.
girl.
She is. There's nothing wrong with her. She's a good choice. But Alice is just much more at my aesthetic.
Alice Nakiri. Who the hell is that?
She
She
the
is
sister.
Arena's cousin.
Oh yeah, cousin. Thank you.
Oh, she actually got votes.
Yeah, she did. She better because she's a badass.
She was ranked 122.
If you couldn't tell, my theme is badass short hair waifus. That's kind of my thing. Speaking of badass short hair waifus, number 2, who Mitsugi alluded to earlier as not making the cut, right on the bubble, on the precipice of greatness, is Casca from Berserk.
Yeah, 66th. I kind of think that's horse shit. I think but Mason, had you submitted, she would have made it.
Yeah, that's I'm okay with
It's
that.
all your fault.
That's okay.
Oh shit! Hashtag blame Mason. Okay.
Fair enough.
Let it
I was
roll,
not
people.
trying to dilute or sway too much, but Casca is spectacular. Her arc is definitely tragic, and you want to protect, but also she can protect you, and she's awesome. And finally, I wonder if anyone else voted for this person,
No,
but
no
my
one else.
girl, Akashi from the Tatami Galaxy, smart, ice queen, aerospace engineering student, cyclist, just absolute, just the sweetest person ever, but also mean and rude and kind and smart and just.
I like Akashi too.
She's just so damn cool, and the fact that she has her little quirks, she likes her little figures, but also she's serious at times. She calls the main character an idiot when he's acting a fool, but still has in her heart compassion and love for him. She's the best waifu, and I'm
She's
sure
so independent. She just she's like I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm gonna do what I like, kind of thing.
The best waifus are the waifus who need no man. They are just on their own terms, living their best life, and if you get the pleasure to be included in that, all the better. If not, you just sit back and say, "You go, girl," and she's awesome.
Mason, you sound like a simp.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
I'm just
Damn.
joking.
That was
Akashi's
savagery
amazing.
right there.
Hashtag Mason is a simp.
I mean, this kind of we should. I should have made maybe I should buy the URL like simplife.life.
What was
That
the?
is.
Oh, there's like a meme in our Discord today that was, I think Salty Cador posted. It was so funny. It's like the guy's like, "I would never be a simp," and then like
Bullshit.
cat meows, and he's like, "At your service, my queen."
Cat meows.
I'm a simple man. Akashi's awesome, and
So
I
many
love simp
jelly
for her.
beans. So many jelly beans to eat today. So far.
You're welcome. But I think we have one last question before we get to our in-show trivia question, which is Mitz asked, "What is the most interesting first round matchup of the waifu bracket?"
Yep.
Which one do you guys think you're like keeping a special eye on?
It's
Well-
like you have no idea who's gonna win this, basically.
Well, for me, it was Komi and Asuka, because I had people send me money for side bets.
What? Really?
I was like a bookie. I took odds on it. I was like, I'll give you what I can't even remember what the odds
legal?
were. I mean, yeah, it is. It is. I mean, you can make side bets with your friends if you want. So I gave like I can't even remember what the odds were, but they were pretty good. Because somebody was very convinced that Komi was gonna not only beat Asuka in round 1, but presuming that 0-2 makes it through Hestia, that 0-2 would also lose to Komi. And I said, there's no fucking way that happens. But we'll see. So but I think Asuka and Komi are very evenly matched, and I feel like that would be a tight one. And I think that one's interesting because I don't want to pay anybody any money.
Cat girl versus catty girl. Who will win?
Ooh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
So I also had Komi versus Asuka as like a very important matchup. Also, just for like a tone of like recency bias versus old classics. What kind of vibe are our listeners a glutton for punishment? I mean, they must be. They listen to us, but like. This could set the tone for how the rest of the bracket plays out. The one I picked was Mikasa versus Darkness. I think that would be two characters that I don't think are the best of their own show. So I think that'll be a close battle.
I can see where you're going with that, but I feel like Mikasa would probably win because of how many more fans she probably has.
That's what I'm thinking, but Konosuba just has an appeal to it that I think draws a lot of people in.
It's just that Mikasa's just a terrible waifu. Like, I don't understand why anybody would want to have Mikasa as a waifu. Like, her personality's fucking terrible.
Only if the person who's, is having Mikasa as a waifu is Eren. And Mikasa would just be like falling at your feet, like, I mean, Eren.
Maybe if they just watch seasons 1 and 2 and they're like, Mikasa's cool, and I'll be like, yeah, she is, but she's just been relegated to such a like non-character recently that I don't care. Anyway, Carolina, what do you have?
My most interesting matchup would be Winry Rockbell versus Honda Toru, because, well, Winry, fan favorite. Everybody loves Winry, but Toru has had 2 shows. So you have that classic Fruits Basket fan, and you have the recent Fruits Basket fans. And Toru is like, the embodiment of sweetness that everybody loves to have in a waifu. But Winry is that little bit of, I don't know, like a firecracker energy that a lot of people also love. So I feel like it's really a toss-up for me on who's going to win this.
So we have the battle of the cats, we have the battle of the subs versus the doms, and we have the battle of the remakes.
Well, it'll be interesting. So, but
I'm excited.
In any event,
we'll have to do like a deep dive analysis whenever we have our matchups.
Yeah, we'll see how it pans out. Again, for those of you that are listening, to this podcast sometime next week, you'll be able to vote. Once you hear this podcast, the voting will be up at Waifu. That's WAIFU war.life. So you just go there. It'll redirect you right to the voting. You vote waifuwar.life. Not hard. Remember, waifu is life. Waifus are lifeu. So
not gonna lie, they're kind of hard to remember.
Yeah, that's why I picked .life. That and the domain was $1. so I was like, yeah, $1.
Oh no, the domain was like $1,000. Please subscribe to our Hentai Addicts and our hobby shows to get that bonus content and pay for our waifu addiction.
That's right. So don't let us down, people. We're trying to have some fun here with this. So, all right, get us out of here.
All right. Let's head to the weekly trivia question and Sabikui Bisco. This isn't the first time that Kyle Ignegsi, I don't even know how to pronounce that, and Brandon McInnes have voiced characters in an anime together. What other anime did they both have roles? And we will reveal the answer after the news break.
See you guys in a minute. Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsugi is here bringing you your anime news break. Starting off with some Junji Ito news, as most of us enjoy the horror from the mind of Junji Ito. Maniac, one of Junji Ito's earlier works, is going to get an anime series released for 2023. Maniac, Junji Ito Maniac, Japanese Tales of the Macabre will adapt 20 stories from a number of Junji Ito's first mangas, including Tomie, Soichi, and Kubitsuri Kikyu, or the Hanging Balloons. If you're a fan of Junji Ito, you're going to want to check this out. It's going to be pretty awesome. 2023. You'll have a ways to wait, but it'll be worth it probably. We'll have to see. Next up, the manga Yusha Party o Tsuiho Sareta Beast Tamer Saikyo Shu no Neko Mimi Shoujo to Deao, which means it must be an isekai for sure. Otherwise known as the Beast Tamer who got kicked out of his party. What is with these kicked out of your party shows? What the hell? Meets a cat girl from the superior race. Wow. Well, a lot of us might agree that the cat girls are a superior race, but we will have to see. This one's scheduled for October of 2022. Director Atsushi Nigorikawa of Boku no Tonari ni Ankoku. Good lord, these titles are just way too long. From Studio EMT Squared, Miyama began writing this fantasy novel back in June of 2018. And if you're a fan of this light novel series, you can check it out when it comes out in 2022 in October. Next up in the news, we have something a little different. Shonen Jump is bringing back their annual app development contest after 3 years. So from 2017 to 2019, a contest was run annually to come up with digital innovation ideas for Weekly Shonen Jump Plus online. Previous winners had entries including competition such as the Moyashimon Jump service, which uses AR technology to let people exchange digital manga volumes with each other through the use of a real-world map. Pretty cool stuff. If you just happen to be an app developer and you love this idea, there is a prize. It looks like entries are open until September 16th, and the editorial department will invest up to $370,000 in the winning proposal. So there's your prize right there to see your work come to life. And lastly in the news, the Vampire Dies in No Time anime inspires a celery fragrance. That's right. The Honda is big on celery in the anime, I guess, and that's why he's getting his own green leaf fragrance that produces a smell like celery. I have no idea who wants to smell like celery. This is sort of a strange piece of news, but hey, if you want to go smell like salad, you can go find the Vampire Dies in No Time anime-inspired fragrance known as Green Leaf. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. Now time to get back to the podcast. Here you are, jogging. Beautiful weather indeed, and you're looking good too, I might add. The blood is pumping, and so are these AAA podcast vibes.
Mitsugi, I want to take my balls out and lube up your head.
That is until your favorite podcast ends. Now you'll be left with no choice but to listen to the placid magnificence of nature. But you're a stink-meaner, and you think nature can go get fucked.
Man, this some old bullshit.
If only you had the AAA Podcast's extra content, you wouldn't be forced to enjoy nature at all. We'd carry you all the way through the rest of your jog with our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties. Over 900 additional episodes of content. You think jogging gets your blood pumping? Just wait till you listen to some hentai episodes. And you'll be helping out the podcast as well. Plus, your grumpy ass won't be chasing birds anymore. Shut up, you noisy little shit. Don't be grumpy. Head over to aapodcast.com/join or patreon.com today and help out the podcast. Again, that's aapodcast.com/join or Patreon.
And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
Do they make reverse kotatsus? A kotatsu that is cooling instead of heating. Just be like, I'm just going to sit underneath here and chill my balls, you know?
That's called a refrigerator.
Oh, yeah, I don't
It's
know.
called a refrigerator.
Putting my balls in your refrigerator.
Just open your refrigerator, stick your leg up on like the countertop with your balls just like hanging free.
One day you're going to walk into your kitchen and you're just going to see my bare ass sticking out of your fridge.
Your 14-year-old daughter comes home with her friend from school, and Dad is just sitting in the kitchen with his hairy ass and his balls hanging down in front of the fridge. Like, Dad, not again!
No, he's sitting on the floor in the living room, and he's brought the fridge with him, and he's like laid it down on top of his body.
Just chilling
Come,
himself.
let's sit around the reverse kotatsu together, children.
Oh, Lord's in heaven.
That would be amazing.
Can it be a father-son edition where the
Yeah.
son is on a platform?
That's the
and
advertisement.
And he's cooling his balls too
Yeah.
on in the freezer.
Right. Yes, exactly. And then you have the kid standing underneath.
So the dad's balls are hanging on top of the little kid. Oh,
They're not touching them.
It's kind of like an intimate tea bag.
Yeah, he's going
Teabag.
under the bridge.
And now, back to the podcast.
Welcome back.
What a time.
Interesting to hear Chopin Nocturnes while we talk about teabagging one's children. So you can eat your jelly bean now. So let's see here.
Yeah, I will.
Trivia. We had a trivia question for you. I will say, very difficult trivia question, but suck it up. You guys can do it. So, in the anime Sabikui Bisco, there are voice acting talents, Kyle Exekzi and Brandon McGinnis, who voiced characters together in Sabikui Bisco. What other anime did they have roles in the same show? In Dr. Stone, they play Carbon and Gen Asagiri, respectively. So, there you go. There's your answer. So, tough question, and if you got it right, good for you. If not, better luck next time. You're just not quite nerdy enough yet, but we're working on it. So,
there.
Anything else, guys? It's time for hot new anime releases, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for hot new anime releases.
Hey, so
Hey.
there's been a big old dropping of fat, new, hot, steaming anime release news coming out, and we figured
Starting to
we
smell.
should put them all in a little list and let you know to get excited for them, because some of these look pretty darn cool. And I'll be asking which ones you guys are most excited for once we list them all. So the first one is a show called Oshi no Ko. It's based on a manga that has 7 volumes out right now, and I have not heard much about this show. All I've heard is from almost everyone unanimously who does know about it is it's best to go in blind. So you're not getting any synopsis here. All you're going to know is that it's a series created by the Kaguya-sama Love is War creator who teamed up with the Scum's Wish creator for a fusion for an idol show. And it's going to be done by Doga Kobo, and it seems like it's going to be just a wild ride. So I don't know if you guys are fans of either of those shows, but it is going to be certainly something, and I'm excited for it.
I was just going to ask you why I was supposed to give a shit, because if you go on, I saw this article on my anime list, and there was 10 times the amount of traffic for it than anything else, and I was thinking, why? What the hell? What is it about this show that I don't know about that other people do? But you just said you weren't going to give any info, so no
info.
Left in the dark.
That's, I think, the point. You should go in with as little... I'm personally am a fan of going in with almost as little info as possible, because coming in with expectations, even knowing the genre, can sway what you're expecting out of a show. So I think we should just go in and see what it is and see what all the hubbub is all about and get you in the loop. But if you can't wait, you can just look up Oshi no Ko and either read spoilers or read the manga itself. So seems to be getting a lot of love, and as Mitsugi pointed out, it's getting a ton of news about it because it's a popular series. The next one is Kimi wa Hokago Insomnia. This has 9 volumes out in a manga magazine that I really enjoy. Weekly Big Comic Spirits is one of my favorites. A little more of an older, seinen type demographic, and this is a astronomy club love story type of deal. It's got a 2023 release, so next year, but it also has a live action film coming out, which probably means there's some level of belief that it's a good story, that they're putting all this money in 2 different avenues of getting it out there. It is going to be done by Linden Films, which is definitely not one of my favorites, but it seems sweet and more mature, and hopefully we get some fun astronomy fun facts, because I like space.
Oh, absolutely.
We love space here. So much fun.
I've heard a lot of people get excited over this.
Yep, as have I. So hopefully it delivers on all that. It's easy to be excited, a year out, but when it actually comes, we'll see how it works. But Linden Films, they're certainly a studio, so we'll see what happens.
They're a studio.
Yes. The next one is definitely coming from a big name studio in a weird sort of way. We have Cyberpunk Edge Runners. This is based in the universe of the Cyberpunk 2077 video game, which was released to massive uncritical acclaim because
God,
it
it
was
was
very
fucking terrible.
dicey video game. But this is a original story based within that world. So I would think that you do not have to play the direct that was that game in order to get it. This will be released on Netflix, as well as the Moonrise movie that I'm not going to talk about here, for a 10-episode season in September of this year. So we are a couple months away, and the reason why you should care is not that it's cyberpunk, but it's done by Studio Trigger, which is a big love-or-hate relationship
come
for a lot
on.
of us. But they have released a trailer, as with most of these, and it does look like Trigger's Promare style. So if you're into that, very glossy, 3D, just bombastic colors, Cyberpunk Edge Runner seems to have you covered.
Brace yourself for plus signs and everywhere, and
Yeah,
You
we
know.
love plus sign eyes.
yeah.
Next up, we have Call of the Night, a 10-volume manga, which is a vampire love story about this kid who just kind of an insomniac. He can't sleep. He just goes out, wanders around at night, and he meets this cutie vampire who is like, wow, being a
Ooh.
vampire is great.
Yeah.
Look at all these cool things you can do. And he's like, yeah, vampires are sick as hell. I want to do that. But to be a vampire, he has to fall in love with her, as well as do some other
Piece
things.
of cake.
So,
Done
yeah,
and done.
exactly. Really. So we got a vampire love story to go with the astronomy one because it's another Linden Films joint. So more Linden Films. This one looks a little more promising, but it's a very more shonen type demographic for this one. So hopefully between the two, one of them plays out well.
So
And finally,
wait
go.
a second. So let me get this straight. Does this vampire girl have a name? Did you say the name? Because I'm gonna look it up.
I did not say the name.
Oh, do you know what her name is?
Not off the top of my head, but she looks a
Alright.
little like the girl from My Hero Academia, who's like really obsessed with Deku, who has like the bangs and all the
Toga?
knives and needles and stuff. Yeah, she looks like Toga. Big Toga vibes.
Okay. Carry
So,
on.
as you were.
Just carry on.
And finally, we have this little known anime sequel coming out called Vinland Saga Season 2.
Oh my god.
I'm
a return
excited.
of 2019's one of our favorites, I think, from that year, Vinland Saga, which is 26 volumes out. So this is a behemoth of a series. They announced that Vinland Saga Season 2 will be coming out in January of 2023. So really, you're like, oh, I have to wait till next year? You guys know how fast this year has been going.
Oh my god.
It's going to be
6
next
months.
year before we
have
know
6
it.
months before this comes
I'm
out.
gonna be dead before you know it.
Right around the
I
corner,
mean,
yeah.
with how many murder attempts we've had, I would hope so.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
it's not my fault you're bad at it.
The interesting piece of news is that Wit Studio, once again with one of their properties, will not be returning for season 2, and they will be replaced by MAPPA, which is
again?
kind of again.
This is Vinland
It's
Saga.
almost
You're
a
still
joke
talking
at
about.
this point.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking about Attack on Titan or any of their other stuff. This is Vinland Saga will be done by MAPPA this time, so
God.
they're
could
just gonna adapt anything they can get their hands on, especially the bigger name the property is.
You can just hear the staff from Mappa crying.
Yeah, crying in
They
their
don't want-
graves.
Yeah, they don't want to fucking do this. They're like, they're dying. Let,
Oh my
let them,
goodness.
Let them free Mappa. Free Mappa.
So, the creators of Vinland Saga do want the entire thing eventually, to be adapted. So that's going to require a whole lot more seasons. So maybe Wit Studio once again was just like, nah, nah, fam, we're good. Though I will mention season 1 of Vinland Saga is currently on Amazon Prime, but coming in early July, it will be also on Netflix, Crunchyroll, and High Dive. So if you've been meaning to watch it and don't have Amazon Prime, there's a bunch more avenues for you to get your eyes on it before next year. So that's exciting news. And those are all the big hot new anime releases, but there are a ton more out there. So maybe we'll touch on them in the months to come. I assume you guys are most excited for Vinland Saga?
I mean, there's
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah.
Because we have the most, experience with it so far.
Because we have common fucking sense. I mean, come on. Is anybody not excited for Vinland Saga Season 2?
I'm just saying compared to
I'm
the others,
medium on
because
it.
we don't really read a lot of manga, so we don't really know much about these other ones.
You're medium.
That's fair. I'm medium. I
What?
did not love season 1 as much as you guys, and I think some people are going to be let down. I don't personally mind it, but I think the action from season 1 is going to be turned down a bit for season 2.
Do you
And I
think
think
so?
some people are going to be bummed. I think so.
Do you know this for a fact?
I have an inkling, yeah.
Oh, he does. It's for a fact, he says. Okay. Well,
So I don't
You
know.
heard- you heard it here.
I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not like, oh, the Villain Saga finally. I've been waiting, holding my breath for this. So let's see. We have a lot of good shows between now and then. That I'm more excited for. So that's all I got. Those are your hot new anime releases.
all right. Well,
Super hot.
super hot.
Scalding.
Hot and steaming. Should I play the mailbag drop?
Yes.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime. Anime. Anime.
Mailbag. All right, guys. If you want to leave a mailbag for the podcast, we will read your mailbag on the show, and give you our answers. So how could you possibly want to miss out on that? You go to the website aapodcast.com, click the mailbag button. You can write your mailbags pretty easy, just like Zod the Immortal did. Zod the Immortal is kind of like a waifu too. He's pretty waifu. I like him. Hello, he's a big sword. Hello, AAA podcast. I was just listening to episode 626, and I really reflected on what you said about introducing a child to anime. I have 2 children, ages 7 and 9, and we watch a lot of anime together, from Naruto, My Hero, Dragon Ball, etc. I drop my kids off at school every day, and I'm so amazed and happy to see how popular and accepted anime is now. I can wear my Demon Slayer shirt, and kids in my daughter's class say, "Your dad is so cool." How times have changed from when I was getting into anime in middle school and getting swirlies in the toilet head first. Just kidding, he didn't write that, I added that. If you wore anything related to anime back then, you would have had a long day of ridicule and probably swirlies in the toilet. That obviously didn't stop me from continuing with the hobby and passing it down to my progeny. But it is great to see the acceptance the community gets now. Just wanted to share it with you guys. Thanks. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have been able to wear anime shirts or anything anyway, because I went to an ex-military prep school and we had a tight as hell dress code, and you would not even be able to wear an anime pin on your blazer. So you would have been taken to the principal. If Mason had gone to my school with his hair the way it was 2 weeks ago, the headmaster would have taken Mason into his office and cut his hair himself right there in the office. It happened many times. So, but what do you guys think about this?
I think we need to get back at all the people who gave us swirlies for wearing anime stuff in
Hell yeah.
school.
Fuck
and we
'em.
should have the anime kids grabbing the jocks and the cheerleaders and giving them the swirlies. No, okay, maybe not. But no, you love to see it. Anime is more popular than it's ever been, more commonly accepted than it's ever been. And I don't think I've gone to the gym once in the past couple years and not seen at least one person with some sort of anime either shirt on or tattoo or like merchandise, a sticker on their water bottle. So you love to see it.
Yeah, it's usually Dragon Ball too. I see a lot of Dragon Ball at gyms.
It's like they're trying to emulate Goku.
Well, shit, who doesn't want to be Goku? I mean, Goku's he's so dumb though, but he's so cool.
Perfect for the gym.
Yeah. What about you?
All right, so
Any comment, Caroline?
I mean, not really. I mean, it is nice to have it be a little bit more accepted, but then again, I got into anime. I'm probably one of the people who contributed to the whole
Swirlies?
anime is cool now
Oh, I thought you were
thing.
going to say you
So
were
I can't
swirling
say that I liked it before it was cool, to be honest.
Caroline, if you were giving someone a swirly, are you?
I would never.
Do you want let's just say would you want to be the person holding the head down in the water, or are you holding the feet up in the air so that the head's like real low? Which one are you?
I mean, I'm not really comfortable answering this question because it sounds like torture.
Is Swirly a 2-person job?
Absolutely.
Well, can you hold up a whole person upside down?
Yeah. I feel like you knock them down, you grab them by their like thighs, you throw their like shins over your shoulder, dunk them in, and then you just kick with your left foot the handle to flush it.
I mean, I know that we think of swirlies as some sort of cultural, nostalgic thing that happens in sitcoms and all that, but the whole concept is absolutely terrifying. You are drowning somebody in toilet water upside down.
Yep. You can also do it in a urinal.
You can?
Oh yeah.
Where's
Put their face in the urinal and flush it a few times. Yeah.
You flush a urinal?
Yeah. You can.
I don't know how urinals
You don't
work.
even-
I just thought
you go to one of those
okay, so
troughs
I
at a
just
sports stadium and
picture
just
it-
drag them up and down the line.
I just picture it as, you know, you look at a urinal and then you just pee into a drain. And that's it.
Have you even seen a urinal in real life?
Yeah, I have, and not
Bullshit.
many times I've had. No, I have seen a urinal.
What are you
just not
doing in the
many
men's
times.
restroom? Come on.
Probably I had. Oh yeah, I used to clean the bathrooms when I worked at Buffalo Wild Wings, so I had to go into the men's room a couple
Oh,
times.
damn. She actually had a real reason.
I do. Yeah.
If you want something
Anywho.
funny, look up how British people pronounce urinal.
Why don't you just help us out?
Urinal.
Yeah, urinal.
Urinal?
Uh,
That's pretty
Urinal.
urinal. Okay, let's get back to this. Okay, so we got a message from Raggedy Doctor, who is a very common sender of mailbags.
Yes,
Hey
indeed.
there, AAA. Studio Ghibli and Miyazaki are fairly known for not making any sequels. That being said, if there was a Ghibli film that... Did I just say Ghibli and Ghibli?
I don't
never
know.
mind.
Probably.
Never mind. I've never decided what I liked better. Making a film that you
Ghibli.
would... That being said, if there was a film that you would want to see a sequel for, which would it be? I may be in the minority, but I would love to see a sequel of Whisper of the Heart. A real sequel, mind you, not a spin-off like The Cat Returns. Love the show and can't wait for your thoughts. Okay, Mitsuki, we already know what you're going to say.
Yeah, it's Nausicaa. I mean, first of all, they didn't adapt the whole manga, to my knowledge. And so they already have more to do. So fucking do it. I think that's like the one criticism people have of that film is it ends abruptly and doesn't adapt the whole source material. So fix it. Make another one. Make it just pick up where the last one ended, and let's go. What are we waiting for?
Mason?
Well, I said obviously Nausicaa, but technically it's not a Ghibli film.
Oh,
So-
get out of here with this.
Being technical, I would say Howl's Moving Castle. Despite that definitely not being one of my favorites, I think that's why I want to see more of that world. It's because, like all the other ones, I was so satisfied with it, and Howl's Moving Castle was just kind of meh for me. But I like the adventure and the characters and the world it was set in. So I want to see more of that world. And I think a sequel, like it couldn't ruin that movie for me, like a sequel to like Princess Mononoke might. So I'm gonna go with that one.
For me, I think one of the movies that would best lend itself to a sequel, in my opinion, would be Kiki's Delivery Service. Just because it is more of like that slice of life feel, so it'd be a little bit more difficult to mess up a story sequel. But also because, you know, Kiki is still like a young witch in the movie, so I feel like you could do more in her growth, or maybe developments with the town, or maybe she has to go on a journey to do like a really big delivery or something like that. I feel like it could be done.
And then she becomes an evil witch in Howl's Moving Castle, and you're like, oh, the movies are connected the
Yes!
whole time. Whoa!
The
No.
Ghibli universe! And yeah, so that's
yeah.
basically it for mailbags. Let's
Yeah.
head into our review, shall we?
Oh my god.
Sabikui Bisco.
I'm so excited for this.
Winter 2022, passed by moi in
Yes.
episode 612. Now, the synopsis is kind of weird. So, this is basically a post-apocalyptic Japan where it's now kind of like a desert of sorts. And a plague is kind of plaguing Japan, and it spreads with the wind, and it's called the rusting or the rust. And it's a lot of people believe rumors that the rust is caused by mushroom spores, but there's also a group of people called mushroom keepers that utilize mushrooms, grow mushrooms. There's a lot a lot of people were making shroom jokes throughout the entire watching of this anime, by the way. So you're not alone if you're thinking of jokes. And so they utilize these mushrooms in a way that is supposed to stop the rust and cure people. But, some people are like, no, the mushrooms are the ones causing it. But that's like a rumor that may not even be true. And then we have Bisco Akaboshi. He is a mushroom keeper, and he's a wanted criminal. He's an archer that uses arrows to grow mushrooms wherever he goes. And there is a legendary mushroom that might be able to cure everyone from the rust. And so he teams up with a doctor named Milo, and they go on an adventure trying to find this legendary mushroom to help save everyone. And so it's by Studio Oz. What was that?
I said it's in his pants.
Why? Why do you make me eat a jelly bean? I'm in the middle of talking, Mitsugi.
You mentioned jokes, and your pee-pee does look like a mushroom sometimes.
Oh, okay. So I was actually driving through Pennsylvania yesterday, and that's a place where you can buy fireworks. You can't really buy them in New York, so there's a lot of advertisements for fireworks on the border.
Yeah.
I saw a cartoon of a firework that looked so much like a penis. I'm like, oh my god.
So see, now who's making crude jokes?
That's not a crude joke. It's just an observation.
Where's my jelly bean
Just
jar?
remarking on the phallic nature of the world around her. That's just how it is.
I'm like thinking to myself, who made this sign and did not realize what that looks like? Because it's just like popping out on the bottom of this billboard. It's like, here I am. I'm a mushroom. I'm a firework. So back to this.
Indeed.
It's by Studio Oz, which is a new studio, and directed by Atsushi Ikariya. And it's his first time as a director, so that's interesting as well. And it's based off a light novel. Okay, so Mitsugi, what did you expect going in?
It looked very shonen. I mean, I didn't know anything about it. It was the promo art and the pictures and stuff. I mean, it was pretty obvious that it was action. It looked shonen. So, I mean, I was expecting like a pretty hot-blooded shonen action show. Lots of fighting. Lots of sharp, pointy hair. Your normal type of stuff. So, that's kind of what I was hoping for.
Okay. How about you, Mason?
All I knew was crabs. I knew there was a CG crab in it because a bunch of people were freaking out about it, and I love crabs. Crabs are super cool, so I was excited for that. And I just knew it was done by the relatively new studio Naz, which also did like ID Invaded, which has a very particular look to it, which I don't know how I feel about. So I was figuring I would be questionable about this show as well.
Well, going into it for me, I knew that lots of shrooms would be involved. And a lot of people in the comments making jokes about shrooms, as I mentioned. Also, based on the PV, just a shit ton of strange stuff like flying fish and gigantic crab monsters that also serve as your mode of transportation. Wacky adventures, strange world stuff. That's what I was generally going into thinking this was going to be the show. Which, I mean, wasn't too far off the mark.
It was a show.
Mitsugi, I think I know the answer to this question. Spoiler-free recommendation. Would you recommend Sabikui Bisco?
Absolutely not. Honestly, I dislike this anime for the same reason I don't like Blood Blockade Battlefront. It's just too stupid. And when I say that, I mean they just ask a lot from you. If you're a particular kind of viewer, they ask a lot from you. It requires a suspension of disbelief at almost every turn. Every single thing in the show is nonsensical. Like if there were like pink cows flying through the sky for no reason, that would make perfect sense in this anime. But to me, I look at that and I'm like, pink cows are flying. So that's pretty stupid. I'm out. I think there was a pink elephant in the show at one point.
There was there was. Mm-hmm. I think it served as some sort of cannon or whatever. I don't know.
When Bisco fires an arrow, and then wherever his arrow lands, a giant, 2-story mushroom explodes out of the ground. That just doesn't make any sense, and I'm not interested in that. And so it's just a little too much for me. It's just a little too. There are some good action scenes in the show, Pawu is probably the best thing in the anime. She's super. She probably should have been on the waifu bracket. I wonder if she got any nominations. I should check on that. But frankly, it's just a little too much. It really requires you to just. It's very light on story. It really requires you to be in it more for like just the goofy craziness of it. And also, the show has some really bizarre melodrama. But there's so much like, oh, I love you. Oh, I can't live without you. I want to be just like you. Like, let's hold hands. I want to snuggle. Like, between like Bisco and Panda Doctor guy. It's just like, there was a couple of scenes where it was kind of puke-tastic. I was just like, for God's sake, just like make out already. Do something. Put the seal of approval on it, because like you're just going on and on and on and on. But the problem is, for me, was that I didn't really give a flying fuck about any of the characters. So, maybe with the exception of Pawu. And so it's like,
because boobs.
Babes.
Did she even have boobs? I just thought she was.
She has boobs.
Does she? I just thought she was cool.
The show makes damn sure you notice
She's
them.
like, have you seen her uniform, Mitsuki?
I guess I'm gonna look it up. Pawu. Nah, she didn't really get any votes, which is pretty weird. But yeah, it just doesn't. They don't put enough like importance behind the characters for you to buy into this melodrama. Like, oh, I hear your speech about how much you like gush and love this other person, but like I don't, so I don't really care. So I didn't. No, I wouldn't recommend it. I didn't really enjoy it. So that's about it.
Mason?
I enjoyed some of the production, particularly like the sound palette and the soundtrack. Those were definitely the best parts of this show. They were pretty banging. But this show tries to be so big and impressive and bombastic, but it is still in the shadow of shows that you would compare it to. Like, it doesn't hold a candle to Dorohedoro or Trigun, and even a show that I didn't really enjoy, like Akudama Drive. This just failed like a cheap, copy paste of those shows. And it's just one of those fun anime that I couldn't get into, and I would define the show as an anime in like a genre sense and as an insult. Like, it just wasn't even clicking for me, even before the Titan-sized train wreck that was like the backstretch of the show. The characters were just very unlikable, and I did not enjoy them, and I would not recommend this show.
Yeah, I was not certain of what your thoughts were, because you were kind of keeping a tight lid on it while we were chatting about it here and there. So that makes me the outlier. I would recommend Sabikui Bisco, at least the first half. I mean, I just found it a lot of fun. It's a crazy world as a result of an apocalyptic event, and it's just interesting. Like, I know that, the things happen, and you have to suspend the belief of like, why is it like this, and why is this happening? But I just chalk that up to be just a crazy apocalyptic event happened, and it just changed the physics of this world. So, I mean, I kind of liked it. And, as I think we mentioned, the action is pretty good, especially at certain parts are very good. And I actually really like Bisco. And Milo is okay by himself. He's just a little too nice guy, and I'm not a huge fan of him
really
by
nice.
himself. He's way too sweet. And then he has Tanjiro's voice actor. He really digs into that Tanjiro sweet guy voice, and it's like, I don't like that. And it just makes him feel like a wet blanket. But the two of them together, I really like. I think they have a good dynamic that I enjoy. And definitely not a show that you will be able to take seriously, or you should take seriously, up until the second half, where they start making absolutely boneheaded decisions that require way too many ass pulls per episode. And like, the villain is just really bad. I don't like the villain at all. And that's where he shows up mostly, is that second half, which kind of makes me feel like if there wasn't really a villain in this show and it was just about saving people from the disease, I think I would like it a whole lot better. And overall, I don't know if you guys thought about this, because it does kind of resemble Blood Blockade Battlefront in certain ways, but for the most part, I kept on thinking about Gurren Lagann during watching this a little bit.
I did too. Pawu definitely fits in that world.
I'm not saying that
bit of a stretch, but I see what you're saying.
It has that feeling. It kind of has that world and some really strange, just the strange rules of that world. You got the robot, and just does not make any sense, and spiral power that kind of takes a while to really figure out what the heck that means. And I feel like you can make some connections between that and this. But even so, I really enjoyed this show, especially the first half. I mean, the second half really ruined it, but the first half I really liked, so I would recommend it.
All right. Well, at least one of us did.
Yeah, at least unless I'm wrong. So, shall we get into spoilers then?
I think we should.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Where should we start?
I don't know.
So I didn't mind the craziness of all the vehicles are animals, or he shoots things, the mushrooms pop out. Like, none of the craziness of that I disliked. I thought that was fun. It was a little zany, sure, but it was just how things are, and I could accept that. And like, all that weirdness gave the show flavor and fun, and it was used in compelling ways, and I had no problem with that.
Creative fight scenes with the mushrooms and all that.
Like, just because things aren't realistic doesn't mean I can't immediately believe, okay, this is how the world is. I can accept that and internalize it. I think it was more the absurdity of the decisions later on that kind of mess with the plot. And I think we'll get into that more in the spoilers, but I want to ask you guys first, what did you think of the like asynchronous storytelling?
What do you mean by that?
So like in the first couple episodes, it wasn't like event A happened and then B happened and C happened in chronological order. They were kind of jumbled up between Bisco trying to enter the city, and they would flash back, forward, and backwards in time. Like, did you think that added anything? I didn't mind it, but I just think it was there to almost confuse you, but it didn't keep me in suspense or anything.
Well, with me, I get easily confused with those kind of things.
Okay.
And I get so irritated when they do that. But from what I can remember, I really didn't mind it at all. I thought I could follow along just fine. And honestly, I totally forgot that even happened because it's been a while since I did my impressions.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was like made for an interesting episode to keep you and like thinking like what the heck is happening kind of thing.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I thought it didn't add a ton, but it was something unique and fresh. And I feel like this show could have been like a 50 episode long like shonen show where we start with Sabikui or Bisco as like a kid getting trained by Jabi, going through the mentorship, doing all that stuff. And I think I like that it jumped right into the most exciting part. You know, it didn't waste our time. It knew, okay, he was a mentor, he trained, he got it. Like, they had that relationship. We've seen that 1,000 times in anime. And I like how we just got to the story of it, which I enjoy. I just didn't like how the story progressed with just things happening and people just very plainly stating their intentions, and then things happening for the sake of like, it just felt so artificial and forced and just not natural, like the beginning half did.
I think I don't think it bothered me at all, honestly. Like, the show was so chaotic that moving around like that didn't really, you know.
Okay, yeah, just checking.
Yeah, I think
especially since it only happened for one episode. But overall, I mean, the pacing was definitely one thing that I wasn't a huge fan of in this show. Like, it was kind of that thing where you go on an adventure and you take a certain amount of time to get to a certain somewhere, and you feel like you know, like, you can estimate just how much time has passed. But then when they go back to where they came from, it's like, well, lickety split, you're back. Yeah.
There was a lot of, each episode would have like 2 minutes left, and you're like, oh shoot, they haven't had a big fight against a weird animal. Okay, there's things in the trainway, or all of a sudden, oh, it's a mantis shrimp. Like, they just like feel like they shoehorned in an action sequence at the end a lot of times. And like you said, coming back, it was a lot of, somehow all this chaos was happening, but all these characters ended up like meeting up together constantly to have like a quick thing of dialogue before they would go across the map, and it just felt so disjointed.
Yeah,
like, you had no sense of the world.
That's another thing I want to talk about, because especially with the final battle, it was more like broken up into several different battles where Milo will fight the thing, and then the group will catch up with him. They'll talk for like 2 seconds, and then one of the group will do something, and then the Rust Titan, whatever you want to call it,
Iron Man,
goes off again. And then Milo runs ahead of them. They're like, we'll catch up for some reason. And then it happens over again. And it's just, it's like, it could have been done in one big battle. You didn't need to break it up this many times.
I was trying to figure out why the fire giant from Nausicaa was in this. It's kind of
Yeah,
weird.
it was Fire Giant, it was Titan, Colossal Titan, it was several things. It was just the same big giant villain.
Technically, Tetsujin means Iron Man, so
Yeah, which is fair because of Rust. Like, I get
Yeah.
it. I know why they called it that, but it was just very. Oh, it's the bad guy who was like, I am the bad guy because I like making money by keeping
Yeah.
people. Like, I am the evil government who is using propaganda to lie to the citizens for financial. Like, it was so on the nose, similar to Akudama Drive, where I was just like, okay, fine. But like, this is the most interesting villain you could come up with. Like, this world needed a better villain. And I don't want to sound like a
I feel
knockoff
like
like
the
Joker,
disease
but
itself was a better villain, just to learn about like what
Yeah.
the rust was and where it came from. But the fact that he's perpetuating the rust for all this, I'm like, are you serious?
well, I guess
And
here's
like, it didn't
Sorry,
even
go ahead.
we didn't even have to analyze his motivation to say, oh yeah, those motivations, he's a bad villain. He literally comes out and says it. I'm the evil guy. I'm the evil organization. And it's like, when you have to say that word for word, you are a bad villain.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier, Caroline, how it reminded you of Gurren Lagann with like
Yeah.
spiral power. What do you think the rust was? Like, what was that supposed to be?
I
Or
feel
what
like
were the mushrooms supposed to be?
the thing is with this show, it has a habit of dropping important information really quickly and not elaborating on it and expect you to remember like very small details. So honestly, they could have discussed something that would explain where the rust came from or something, but I cannot remember. It happens a lot in this show. It's like something happens. I'm like, wait, that happened? When
Well,
did that happen?
I guess I meant more like obviously
Oh,
in
yeah.
Gurren Lagann, spiral power is just a metaphor for human evolution, the progress of mankind, and reaching towards greater heights that we weren't meant to achieve. Which is why that show became bigger and bombastic to like mirror that growth of evolution and spiral power. Which is why it gets so absurd at the end, because that's the logical conclusion. So yes, it's crazy and weird, but like to me that makes sense. This show is
Okay.
about rust, but I was
You're
like,
looking for symbolism.
yeah, what is the metaphor of rust? Is it just the calamity that mankind has to overcome? Is it the self-inflicted wounds of our government? Like, what did it say? And I get that this is just a dumb, fun show with mushrooms, and I had fun watching it at times, but there was just no meat to this. It was just very
Yeah.
much,
I can
aren't
agree
these
to that.
characters a blast?
I don't know. I mean, it probably doesn't have as much symbolism behind it as Gurren Lagann, but I just didn't really think about it that much.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's not a show meant for that, and maybe that's asking too
It's
much.
not meant
but
for thinking.
exactly, this is a turn your brain off show, and
I feel like even with all these cons, it's still just entertaining. You know, it's a fun time. Again, second half notwithstanding, at least the first few episodes, I feel like is enough worth watching.
yeah, I guess it gave you some things that you wanted to know about, like why are the henchmen wearing like bunny like hats?
Yeah.
Like, what's the deal with that? And it just wasn't. It was very much operating under a rule of cool. Like, oh, if it just looks red enough, that will explain why it is the way that it is. But I just never thought it was that cool or like it just felt like it was borrowing elements from other shows.
God,
And I think
Yeah.
that's what made it seem so silly. And if you're going to borrow it, do it bigger and better, not just. I don't know. It seemed like a budget version of a fun Trigun romp or something. I don't know.
I guess I'm
The
just a
bunny
huge.
hats were also very inconvenient because Bisco literally easily went undercover as an agent wearing a bunny mask because they're
Bisco
so
does
stupid.
it. Jobby does it. Like multiple times
So
they use
many
the
people
same
do
method
it.
of doing it. Like multiple times Bisco had to catch Powwow like as she fell. Like
Powwow.
multiple times, like the same things had to happen. Like it just seemed very in its own rut over time.
Were you gonna say Mitsugi?
I don't know. I just feel like maybe I'm just the big stick in the mud because I don't really think that villains wearing like mascot masks is cool. I think it's dumb as fuck and takes me out.
Nobody
of the show
thought it
completely.
was cool.
Yeah,
It's like-
that's what I'm saying.
Neither of us thought it was cool.
I mean, the show
It's
is.
just something for them to do.
I feel like the show has serious tones to it, but then there's so much about it that's not serious that it makes it difficult for me to take things seriously, you know. And I'm never gonna watch a show in my entire life where someone's wearing like a mascot mask, and I'm not gonna think that's stupid. Like it's been the same for me since I was 16. Like they did it in Fumafu. It was stupid then. It was stupid in the Kyoani show about the theme park, Opmagi Brilliant Park, and it's stupid in this show. I just don't. It was stupid in the action show where the girl kept climbing inside the guy's bear suit. That was stupid.
Gleipnir?
Yeah, it was stupid in Gleipnir.
But at least they had a reason in like Amagi Brilliant Park that they're in suits or in Gleipnir. Like they had a thing. Like this was just the dude likes bunny masks and wanted to hide the fact that he was fucking mushrooming their brains out. Like I don't know.
Is that why they had the masks, to hide the mushroom?
For some of them, but then
brain
it wasn't for others. Like some of them were being mind controlled, others weren't. Like why did Bisco
This was
put
just a
the
long-term uniform.
like bandages around like Milo's eyes, like just
Yeah,
to like
that
hide the
was
fact
true.
that he hadn't taken the medicine, but then like 2 minutes later he's like there was no sense of like continuing, I can't even talk, chronological time span and how people were just recovered and back in the like it just felt messy and not in a they were pressed for time way. It just crumbled apart. I don't know what happened with the show.
like,
All I know is I
Injuries
didn't like it.
meant nothing. Like Milo literally got shot in the back 5 times.
Wow,
And
Karen.
you're telling me
Literally-
he can just pick himself up and then go defeat a gigantic titan just like that. And then several times, people got shot in the face, and the only thing that happened to them was that they lost an eye. That's all. No brain damage, apparently.
Yeah, or like Bisco just fucking melts into nothingness and dies. And nope, never mind. JK,
Nope,
the
he's
power
back.
of love.
Shroom Jesus.
Yeah. And maybe
Yeah.
this is just simply the light novel has better explanations that didn't come through in the anime. If someone said that, I would absolutely believe it. But we can only judge what was presented here, and what was presented here was kind of a mess of storytelling and character writing that I did not enjoy.
I want to know
They
how.
literally could have killed the villain several times over. Like, they were in the
Oh,
room
yeah.
with him. They could have ended him in seconds. They can't tell me that they could not have, because if that wasn't the case, then Bisco didn't have to die in the first place.
I was kind of wondering.
Bisco didn't have to go off the railing and into the rust with him at all.
No.
There was no reason for it.
I mean, there's a scene
Sorry.
where the doctor guy is just willing to kill people all of a sudden, and I'm like, your whole character up to this point's been, oh, I have to save you. I'm the doctor. I do everything good. And then in that scene with the villain, like in episode 8 or 9, he's just like pretty much willing to kill people. And I was just thinking, wow, that's like seems to go contrary to everything I know about you up until this point.
Well, I feel like that's a simplification. I feel like his character is supposed to be like, oh, I'm a doctor. If somebody's hurt, I'm going to care for you. But it's kind of different when it's an evil organization bent on killing literally everyone with a disease and you. So I feel like, at least he did buck up a little bit and become a badass for an episode.
I mean, I
Sure,
don't know.
I'll give him that.
Is it different?
I feel like it is.
Okay, maybe
Like,
it is.
I feel like you're simplifying it.
Maybe
Like,
I am.
oh, you're a doctor, I'm gonna save people, and that means they literally cannot do harm to anyone. I feel like people aren't like that. I feel like that's more like Platinum End's what's his name? The main character of Platinum End. It's like, I will not hurt people to a fault. And I feel like that was irritating for a lot of people. At least for this, it's like, I don't want to hurt people at all, but I'm gonna do what I have to do.
The other thing that I don't know, there's just too much suspension of disbelief for me in this. I think that's really the bottom line, honestly, because I just have trouble getting around a lot of that stuff. There's a scene where what the hell, the panda doctor Milo, whatever, he's carrying Bisco in his arms. One, Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah.
You're a flimsy looking, I've never done anything physical in my life, $120 soaking wet dude who's not going to be able to carry 50 pounds in your arms, let alone 150 pounds plus gear. And then he's like running uphill in the snow. It takes like 6 bullets in his back, and he's like, he just keeps going. I'm like, oh, you have suddenly developed superhuman power, and you're just gonna fuck it. But I understand that this is also an anime where, you know, people shoot mushrooms under the ground like Super Mario or whatever, or like Sonic, and spring through the air like 500 meters into the air, and then kick a giant.
They also
robot.
have unlimited arrows. Like, never once did they ever worry about running out of arrows, and yet they shot probably hundreds and hundreds of arrows over the course of this anime.
But I guess for me, it's like the anime just shows complete disregard for any effort to be like sensical at all. There's really no, for me, there's no coherence that grounds me into the world or what's happening. This world is so chaotic and so crazy that virtually anything that they put in the anime could be argued to be, oh, it's world building, it's part of the world. I can hear fans right now of this anime saying, oh, pink elephant, some guy's got mushrooms growing out of his ears, like whatever. It doesn't matter. It's part of the world. They can do whatever they want. And to me, I'm like, well, I don't understand the world because there's so much chaos in it that when you have that much chaos, you have essentially nothing. Like it's almost like if you draw a picture on a piece of paper, the picture, it makes sense. But then when you take like a Jackson Pollock style approach to it and you're just going to scribble like markers all over your original picture, sure, you could say, oh, that's part of the picture too, but now I can't see the picture anymore. I don't understand what is going on. Does that make any sense? Like they're riding a crab. Why? Mushrooms.
Crabs are cool.
Mushrooms cure rust. Why? Why is there this giant robot out of nowhere? I don't know. Why is the villain sticking out of his head for no reason after being melted in lava? I don't know. Why is there a pink elephant? I don't know. Why is the fucking sun gonna like grow a smile and like have tea with the moon? I don't fucking know. But like it's
That
what
did
it's
not
just
happen.
too. It didn't happen, but it's just
crazy.
too.
That was Teletubbies.
It could have happened. It could have
See,
happened.
and
though.
none of that stuff bothered me. That's
Yeah,
all
well.
like world building stuff that was like, yeah, it's zany, it's weird, but sure, I can accept it. What I have more difficulties with is like Pau's character arc just becoming nothing and just falling for Bisco and just being like, oh, this is what
Yeah,
I was
that's
born
true.
for.
Yeah,
That's-
that was a little weird. Here's the thing. This is actually a spoiler for the light novels because I kept on hearing about it in the comments of Crunchyroll, and I was so annoyed that they were giving spoilers from the light novel. So
Yeah.
fast forward like 15 seconds. Apparently, Pau and Bisco get together. And they get married. And I'm like,
okay.
wow, they don't fit. They don't work together. Honestly, I really ship Milo and Bisco. I ship them hard.
Oh, that's obviously the shift.
They're a
shipping
cute
'em hard.
couple, and I love them.
I
No,
will
that's just
say,
me.
I didn't dislike Chiro, the little pink-haired jellyfish.
Yeah, T-roll. Yeah.
Chiro, like she wasn't a terrible character. She was there to like represent like the emergent like friendship
Yeah.
and stuff. Like she was all right. She was in there for no good reason, but she served some purpose at the end where I was able to justify, I get it. That makes sense. But it was like Pao and Milo, like those brother and sister, just I didn't vibe with them, and just most of the characters were just so plain. Obviously, the crab was the best boy.
Yeah, crap.
No
was
doubt
that
about it.
way.
How much is
I-
he? How much
I
does he
will
cost
say
by the pound?
I did really laugh at in the beginning when Bisco was trying to teach Milo how to ride the crab. And they had this like triumphant music when Milo's finally getting on the crab and he's not being thrown off. He's like do 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 do, and he's like thrown off.
Yeah,
of it.
the music was by far the best part of this
Yeah,
show.
it was great. I made a TikTok about it.
But yeah, carcinization is definitely a thing. It's amazing, and I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, I've basically said everything I wanted to as well.
I mean, did they give coherent answers to any of these questions? Where's the rust
Do
come
we-
from? Why do the mushrooms cure the rust? Why do we?
I
give a
don't
fuck?
remember. if
Why did they
said, I
all
don't
survive the
remember.
lava? You know, I don't recall getting any answers to anything. I don't even know why the world
Yeah.
blew up. I don't even know why Tokyo got blown up. I understand that the robot or whatever went crazy and blew up and took out the city or whatever. Just like almost
Maybe
happened
this is
at
something
the
they
end.
explain later on in the light novels, and they get to that. Since they basically have found the cure for it, now they got to find the source. I guess could be something that they focus on later on.
And I just have a big problem with when I'm watching a show and they don't explain anything. I don't know. I mean, you can say, "Oh, wait till season 6 in the light novel," but I need the answers now because the show doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to watch season 6. So I don't know. I'm sensing they didn't answer the questions. Otherwise, you guys would have offered them.
I mean,
No.
not too well. Like, yeah, there's some things here and there, but it's just you have to accept it. And I do agree with Caroline, where if this show was just them going around trying to hunt these big monsters like drifting dragons or whatever, trying to find the mushroom to save the rest, and that was all they explained, I'd be much better with that. I would. It's a fun adventure. They're exploring the countryside, seeing cool, weird animals, and
These villages
fighting with unique things.
Different
I would be
issues.
I would be so much more enthralled with that than what we got. I guess I'll just score it really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Audio was really good, but despite its desire to be big, brash, and bold, it was just more of a bummer. I do like crabs, so I'm gonna give it 1.5 crab arms out of 5.
1.5.
Yeah, oh yeah. This was not even touching average quality. I'm sorry.
1.5. I'm gonna give it 1.5 pounds out of crab for a decent price out of 5. It was stupid. It was stupid. It was just stupid.
I'm crying. Okay.
And the show had no balls, by the way. They didn't really kill anybody the whole show. Everybody's dying. They all have rust illness. Oh, we're all gonna. No one died.
They did not really stay true to the whole. Oh my God, you have the rust thing. You're gonna die in a certain amount of time. Oh, how are you even moving? You're you've had rust for this long, and it's like we've never really saw anyone that was detrimentally inflicted with rust. Like everyone seems to be have the power of 10 men because they are so rusted over. Like Jabi has a month to live and he's still doing everything basically as he typically would. So that, I mean, it's not a perfect show by any means. I totally agree with most of your negative points that you've brought up, as I have also talked about the negative points of this show quite a bit. But I really enjoyed watching it, especially the last 2 weeks. We watched Land of Leodale and Akebi. Akebi was fine, but it was just slice of life and let's be friends and isekai. And here we have a show that's more about, hey, let's just shoot some arrows, beat up the bad guys. Let's just do weird things in this weird world. And I really enjoyed it. And I thought it was like a breath of fresh air, at least for the first half. So therefore, I'm going to give it 3 Shroom Jesuses out of 5.
Nice. You watched the show, you enjoyed
2.5
it.
and a 3. Yeah.
And that's fine. I get it. I like that. What was that show? The Day I Became a God. Like that show had to me one of the best first halves, and that fell off a cliff too. And I was like, I enjoyed most of my time with it. So I get how it is. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I'm glad I put my foot down on this.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
So that averages out to a 2.
It's all good. I mean, the minute I knew that it was Blood Blockade Battlefront, I knew I wouldn't like it. And I was right.
Yeah, it's all a matter of taste, I suppose.
It's all
but I guess, Mason, what were your thoughts on Blockade Battlefront? Did you like it at least a little bit?
I liked some episodes and elements. It was definitely a chore to watch, though. I mean, I definitely preferred it to this show.
Really, you preferred
I mean,
BBB? And then
yeah, I mean, I gave that.
Preferred this over BBB.
I gave BBB a 2.5 out of 5. So
see, the difference is that BBB I think had worse characters in this show. The characters in this show
but it had a better ending song.
I can't
remember. This one had Pau.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The opening of this anime is great. I love the opening.
It was fine. I mean, Blood Blockade had Chain. She's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, she's cool.
Anyway,
That's basically
let's wrap
it.
this up. Guys, thanks for listening. I really appreciate that you guys tune into these podcasts every week, and we do enjoy doing them, and it is a passion, and we're always happy to have our anime addicts with us. So if you want to tune in to the podcast, don't forget we're on Twitch live every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, so you can do that. You can head over to all the social media. I'm sure Caroline's going to be doing posts about our waifu war.
Oh yes.
On Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. We got the trailer going. I gotta watch that trailer video. You must.
So
I
hype.
am hurt that you have not. I
What
have
are the
provided
Waifu
links.
War websites again, though, Mitz?
If you go to waifuwar.life, because waifu.life, you can you can vote right now. So I have just finished the entirety of the first poll just now as we speak. So
Oh, I thought that wasn't out for another few days.
No,
Well, this
it's live
podcast-
now, baby.
This podcast won't come out till Thursday, probably. But
Oh, I see how you did that. Yeah.
yeah.
And don't
So-
be a coward and just vote for what you think people will vote for, so your bracket does better. Vote for
Stand
the
your
waifu
ground.
you think is better. Yeah.
I
The
did
waifu you think is waifu.
I did my best on all the pictures. There are some characters that just don't have good pictures. Like Komi, she doesn't have any good pictures. They're all headshots. There's no she's up against Asuka. Like Asuka's got
Most of the
4.
shows are her posing for pictures.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but go on Google and type in Komi Shoko sexy. There's
Well, you don't
nothing.
have to put in the sexy part.
You do.
Any picture of Komi would do.
You do when the other character is has 4 trillion
Because he's in a bodysuit.
because it's
the entire
Asuka.
time.
So I'm trying to find like fair photos that are fair. So I did my best. For
Okay, I'm
example,
going to send this to you. I think this would do just fine.
Or like Rios Gremory, every photo of her is naked. And then she's up against Ryuko, who's mostly naked, but not in the way that Rios Gremory is, because it's High School DxD. Or like Honda Toru, she doesn't have any good pictures. Like there's nothing in there that's gonna make her. If she ends up against like 0-2 or something, come on. So anyway,
There, I just
Go
sent it.
vote.
Go vote. waifuwar.life. Make it happen. And of course, we appreciate you guys listening. And next week, what are we reviewing next week?
Ya boy Kong
Yeah,
Ming.
boy.
Early review, boys. We're doing it.
All right,
it.
let's get that done then.
All right, guys,
Oh,
we'll see-
jelly bean count. 23 jelly beans today. I'd
That's
say
not very
a lot
many.
of that came. A lot of jelly beans came from the waifu talk. So,
All right.
but yeah, you have not been very inappropriate today. So I guess there's that.
Oh my god, that photo of Komi was better than the one that I have used. So I'm gonna use your suggestion.
Just goes
Bye,
to show you don't need to put sexy into
everybody.
the search bar.
Bye, guys.
That's sexiness anyway.
We will see you next time. Take care. We love you. Bye.
Bye bye.